Well, hello and welcome. This week's Shine podcast is by FLAGG, which is the Filipino Life and Generations Group. We're a Filipino culture and wellness group for students of all high school grade levels and also adult mentors. The goal of FLAGG, which is a program of the Napa Valley Educational Foundation, the goal of FLAGG is to share our life experiences, our challenges, and our Filipino culture in a non-judgmental atmosphere of mutual respect and trust. So we're all on a journey of discovering ourselves and our Filipino culture. So we're going to conduct this like a regular FLAGG meeting. So I'll turn it over to Bella.
So a couple of ground rules for our FLAGG meetings is the FLAGG philosophy. FLAGG is a place where you can talk openly with each other, be accepted for who you are, make friendships, and know you'll never be judged for who you are or what you say. We have a trust factor, which basically states that what happens here stays here. We cannot bring this outside of our meetings.
Which is a little weird because this is a public.
We're broadcasting.
We're broadcasting
Yeah.
in public.
We're spilling all of our juicy secrets to you guys.
Right.
We meet almost every Monday in the Wellness Center at American Canyon High School from 4 to 5. So yeah, we welcome you. We discuss all kinds of different topics like what makes a Filipino, history, family, music, and meetings are open to discuss literally everything we have in our minds, really. For events, we have discussion groups, which happen every Monday, as we said. Other separate events are planned, like socials, Pisa Sanayon, and workshops.
Mabuhay, welcome. Filipino-American students endure many things. The pressures of school, living up to family and cultural expectations, making and keeping friends, and struggles which are mostly hidden. It's okay to be sad, worried, and stressed out about these things. When these feelings become more serious and potentially fatal, this may be a sign of serious mental health issues. Knowing the difference between the two may mean the difference between life and death. Suicide among young people has reached epidemic and heartbreakingly tragic proportions in the United States.
So, moving on from our opening, we're going to be sharing some fun facts. Did you know it is estimated that about 3 million American teens suffer from severe depression and other mental health issues? The California Healthy Kids Survey shows greater rates of depression and anxiety in Filipino students than other student groups.
Really fun facts.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Approximately 25% of high school students seriously consider suicide each year. Among young people aged 15 to 24, suicide is the third leading cause of death after accidents and homicide. Every day in the U.S., approximately 14 young people between the ages of 15 and 24 die at their own hands. That's one suicide every 1 hour and 40 minutes. So today, we will discuss the mental health struggles of Filipino-American students and hope to break down the social and cultural stigmas that lead many Filipino-American teens to deny and hide this problem.
We're going to introduce each other to everyone watching this podcast. My name is Clarence Mamaril. I'm a longtime resident of the city of American Canyon, and I'm also the FLAGG coordinator. I work part-time for the Napa Valley Educational Foundation.
Wow.
Hello, I'm Sabella Flathers. I am in my sophomore year right now. I go to American Canyon High School. This is my 4th year of FLAGG.
Hi, everybody. I am Elijah Vergara. This is my 1st year of FLAGG. Some extracurriculars outside of school that I'm currently doing are boys volleyball,
Wow.
Key Club,
Wow.
and as well as the choir program at American Canyon High School.
Hi guys, I'm Justin. I'm also a sophomore at American Canyon High School. This is my 2nd year of doing FLAGG, and I'm also in choir with Eli.
We actually have more FLAGG members at a typical meeting. As you can see from all of them, they're involved in a lot of other activities.
Yeah.
It's sometimes hard to come out for FLAGG meetings. But these three I'm really proud of. They're FLAGG leaders and just really really great students. We start FLAGG meetings with what's called highs and lows, like our high of the week and the low of the week. Who wants to start?
Justin.
Me. Wow. My high was from, I guess, Saturday. I celebrated my Lola's 70th birthday.
Ah, nice.
And it was just like one of those like events, you know, where it's like just really nice to get together with people you haven't seen in a while. And my low, my allergies are starting, and it's like, oh my god, spring has sprung. So
So my high for this week, I'd say I've been sleeping a lot more lately than I have been. So it's been nice to finally get like a good sleep schedule again. For my low, I'd say a lot of work is coming in lately, and I've been getting really busy trying to focus on getting my permit right now. I'm juggling boys volleyball with Key Club. I'm going to be applying for an officer position there.
wow.
And yeah, mainly all the extracurriculars as well as school life and personal life.
For my high, I would say I recently got my ears pierced, like my lobes, because I had them pierced before, but I have a sister. I didn't have those earrings afterwards. You could probably fill in the gaps. But yeah, I got them re-pierced. It cost a lot of money, a lot more than I was expecting, but that's fine. For a low, I'm just really busy. I do Taekwondo, and testing is coming up for my first degree black belt. I'm also working, which is actually pretty fun, but it's also just like another thing I have to do after school, so don't get like a lot of homework done. So it's piling up.
I feel that.
Yeah,
All right.
me too.
My high of this week was seeing some wonderful college friends. I'm at the age where I'm attending more funerals for my friends' parents. So my best friend from college, his name's Jeff, and he lost his mother recently at the age of 92 from dementia, related illnesses. And she was just a really dear lady. But so got to see some like really good college friends over the weekend in a beautiful place in Saratoga. My low of basically the past couple of months is that my accounts manager at my office had you guys know, he had a stroke.
Aw.
And he's been out of the office for about a month and a half. So I end up doing the work I already need to do, plus all the administrative and financial stuff to keep up. So at a FLAGG meeting, we have a lot of different short activities. And for our first activity, it's called Speedy Struggles. So we're going to form a little circle, pretend it's a circle.
We can't move.
Yeah, we can't move. And each person, we're going to go around. We'll see how many times we can like do this circle or this circuit. Each person will say one thing you are struggling with right now. It can be connected to your mental health, school, relationships, or whatever. So we'll say our struggles slowly at first and then try and speed it up. 4, 3, 2, 1. Ooh.
Grades.
Okay. Wow. Jeez, fast.
Speedy.
Okay. Wow. You took like the most obvious thing.
You could repeat it, I'm pretty sure.
Really? Grades.
History.
AP history.
Wow. Close relationships.
Yeah, relationships for me too.
Balance between school and life.
Dealing with the older generation.
Money.
Teachers.
Permits.
Upcoming deadlines.
Doing too much stuff.
Trying to upcoming deadlines as well.
I'd say not doing enough stuff.
Trying to find fulfillment in your life.
Oh, this will be a heavy one. Relatives with cancer.
Just like struggling with like small minuscule tasks that just build up and like immediately crush you.
Knowing what you want to do later in life.
Trying to coordinate things without having it turn into a giant mess.
This might be surprising to y'all because I really keep a public face. I keep up a
camera.
good public face, but paralyzing depression.
Oh God, yeah.
Shoot, I forgot what I was gonna say.
It's hard to come after paralyzing depression.
Yeah, that's a
sorry.
big thing to follow.
No
up.
worries, no. Maybe maintaining friendships.
Trying to find your self-worth in life.
Oh, I already said. Well, bills, rising costs of everything.
Parents, dude. Crazy.
Loving relationships.
Yeah. Inflation.
Oh, getting older and getting physically weaker.
Not as important as the other things, but I'm wearing really tight shoes right now, and I can feel the pressure building up. It's genuinely bad.
Okay. I'd say future classes for the upcoming school year.
Yeah. Just trying to figure out what you do want to like prioritize in your life. Like, yeah.
Making just fitting into American culture and Filipino culture and oh my goodness, older Filipino culture and younger Filipino culture and trying to make a name for myself in this town or you know what we talk like being an ambassador for what's
like
Filipino to non-Filipinos.
I would say just overall trying to know if you're settling or you're actually doing what's good enough for you. It's been hard to tell recently.
I'd say trying to keep up with all of your family members and losing connection with like some of them.
I guess trying to like not get so overwhelmed in life where you just like completely have it like
You just break down.
you just like break if you know what I mean.
Work-life balance.
Growing up when you don't really want to grow up, but you don't want to stay young at the same time.
I'd say bottling up your emotions.
Trying to figure out when you want to like how to like properly express your like feelings and emotions to others in a healthy way.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it. That's our 5 minutes. Well,
We survived.
yeah, good job. We made it.
Ugh. That was harder than I thought it'd be, honestly.
Right. But
Okay. For our large group discussion, we're going to be talking about what the mental health is like being Filipino. Struggling through problems is a normal part of life. The difference between sadness and a mental health issue, like serious depression, is that when you feel sad, you know you can pick up yourself and feelings will pass. With serious depression, you feel so powerless that feeling utterly hopeless that nothing will help. You lose your motivation, and this continues for several weeks. Environmental stressors such as abuse, abandonment, and exposure to violent acts can bring out mental health issues in students. Struggling with mental health is not a weakness. People going through a mental health challenge did not bring it upon themselves. They are not to blame, and they should not be treated like a crazy person when they ask for help.
so, this activity involves raising your hand if this is applicable to you. So if this is a factor in your life, raise your hand. I'm participating too. So here we go. Do you talk to your family about mental health problems?
It's like it's a complicated situation. Like
Yeah.
you have to bring it up in order to talk about it. It's
Yeah.
not just an open sort of discussion that's available whenever you need it to be.
Hopefully they aren't seeing this, but I have to be the one to bring it up, and if I do bring it up, they immediately shut it down.
Yeah.
Justin, do you have anything you want to say about that or no?
I feel like when you try to bring it up, they'll end up like coming to their own conclusions, and then they like twist what you say into whatever like version that they want in their own head.
Like they're not listening to you.
Yeah, that, or like they like, for my instance, my mom usually like turns it back to like Jesus, and she tries to like tie
Turns
that
it
into
back to
everything. Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah. Yeah, that's my. Well, yes. I mean, that's a generational
Yeah.
thing. Because it's easy to turn to Jesus.
Yeah.
You know, it's harder to like actually
Admit
face
it,
the
yeah.
problem and like have a viable solution. Okay, so, okay, raise your hand if this is applicable to you. Does your family talk about mental health?
It's not an like
Yeah.
like we just said earlier. It's not an open thing we
Yeah.
talk about. Like it's not something you're gonna be discussing often.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And I think you get to the point where your family has to talk about it when it's really bad.
Bad. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll expand on some of this stuff, but we'll get through the kind of the poll thing. Do you have serious mental health struggles and challenges? Raise your hand if this applies to you.
Yeah.
Has anyone in your family ever had serious mental health struggles and challenges?
I think the worst part about that is when other people in the family have it, we either don't talk about it, or when we do talk about it, we're basically talking down about them. We're saying like, oh, they're crazy, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's only ever brought up to bring a person down.
Yeah, actually, you know, Bella, when you said that, you know, the song from, what was that movie? The Pixar movie.
Which one? There's like a lot of.
Zootopia?
We don't talk about Bruno.
Oh, Encanto.
Encanto, right? So it's
Yeah.
like, we don't talk about mental health challenges.
We
but we don't.
We
No.
don't.
That's the thing. We don't.
We really don't.
And it's kind of like, you know, Bruno's living in the house this whole time behind the walls. That's crazy enough. I mean, sorry to use the word crazy, but that's a lot like mental health challenges for like Filipino families, probably for most families. It's there. Keep it hidden. Have you ever received any mental health support from your school or a mental health professional? Have you ever asked for mental health support from your school or a mental health professional?
I mean, I've asked for it, but they said, no, you're fine.
Oh my goodness.
Well, from professional at least. I'm not allowed to talk to professionals.
Wait, why?
My parents don't believe in therapy.
Oh.
They believe in it, but they don't think I need it. So
Okay.
Okay, so this next activity is more of an open discussion. Although, now I'm thinking about it, there's a lot to unpack from the poll questions.
Yeah. There's
Let's
do you want to expand on some of them?
let's start with that, right?
All right.
Okay. Do you talk to your family about mental health problems?
like we said, like it's not really like an open discussion sort of thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, the most time I'm able to like learn about my parents growing up is when I complain about like mental health issues, and they said, "Oh yeah, well I had insert a worse mental health issue that they've suffered," and like that's really interesting to me, the way that they have the need to compare what you're going through with theirs and say, and I'm walked out of that fine, so you'll be fine too, even though they're clearly not fine.
No, but that's a real thing. I mean, growing up, I was really lucky that we had a washing and drying machine in the house, because when they were growing up, they had to wash their clothes in the river, you know, and pound their clothes with like round stones, something like that. Or
Yeah.
it's
Wow.
like the
Yeah.
classic, you know, I had to walk 24 miles
Yeah.
to school in the pouring rain and tornadoes and snow.
I
So,
feel like-
wow.
They always try to guilt trip you for things that you
Yeah.
have. Like something my parents would always say was like, "Oh, kung bata naman ako," like, you know, stuff like that. And then they would like bring up like something.
Oh, you'll have to.
Yeah, for our audio listeners, could you translate that, please?
Oh yeah, they're basically saying like, "Oh yeah, when I was a kid, I didn't have this, I couldn't do that," and it's kind of like a passive aggressive way of saying like, you're lucky to have this, like, but at the same time, it makes you feel like this guilty feeling inside of you, you know?
Now, as the old Filipino in the group, I do have to, mention this. My parents literally during World War II were hiding out in the mountains, hiding from certain death from the Japanese.
Yeah.
So they went through trauma.
Yeah.
Like they went through unimaginable trauma, right? But I think their failing is that they went through that, but the things that you go through, like the things we talked about, that we're struggling with, are equally valid. Yeah, maybe we're not going to get bayoneted by the Japanese, but it's still serious. Wow. On that note, let's try number 2. We kind of, does your family talk about
the same thing?
Yeah, it's kind of the
we
same
can
thing,
move
right?
fast.
Okay, well, let me throw this. I'm completely throwing a question that's not on here. Who do you talk to about mental health struggles?
I'd say friends mostly, because it's weird enough. I feel like there's a weird dynamic between friends nowadays that they didn't have back then. Because nowadays you can only talk to like your problems with a specific amount of friends, and there's like weird boundaries I feel like they didn't have back then. It was easier to have friends in middle school than it was in high school, for example. And I don't know when these like boundaries or barriers were all of a sudden like built. So it's weird because people who I would like trust in my deepest darkest secrets and they would trust with me, all of a sudden like there's nothing going on anymore because they just find it weird now.
I have a tiny little problem where I don't really talk about my mental health struggles. And I just tend to deal with it on my own, which is maybe a little bit unhealthy. Maybe. But of course, there are people that I am able to talk to, but I don't know, for some reason, I feel like I shouldn't be burdening other people with my problems. And that I know that they're there for me. I know that I'm like able to talk to them, but it's just a little personal issue that for some reason I don't.
I think taking the first step is really the hardest. I remember during COVID, it was really bad for me because, you're cooped up in a house, eventually something's going to snap. And I remember I took that first step and then I called one of my cousins in New York, and just being able to like release all of that's been like you've been like collecting for years felt so relieving. And one of the nice things I like about talking to my cousins is that they've had relatable experiences, and most of them are older, so many of them know like the challenges you have to face, and they can also provide some insight to me on like how to deal with it, and it helps to build your relationship with them more.
I sometimes talk about my mental health struggles with my peers, like really close friends, but you have to be
the closest
finger
the
friends,
top
right?
5.
If you have 5 friends that you can say anything to and who will always have your back and that you've known for years, then that's plenty. So to be honest, like the folks on that hand aren't not my closest like family members, Yeah. Also, I do go through therapy. I'm not ashamed to say that in public. Because like going to a mental health professional is, well, we found out during making FLAGG into a program that's something that students like Filipino-American students don't do, but we look great. Like we look happy and we're super, like we perform really well in school.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
We get
all
top
just
grades. Yeah.
Oh.
all a mask.
Yeah, it's so easy for us to like learn how to build like a facade over yourself. Because I feel like one of the things we're really good at is assimilating into wherever you go. And one of the problems when you do that is that you end up, in a sense, casting a mask, over yourself, and just trying to repress, like, your feelings. And I noticed this a lot, especially in school. There's so many kids who end up repressing, especially like their Filipino culture, to the point where I can see it can tend to lead, like, especially now as we're growing up, to like, like identity crises sometimes.
You just described my entire childhood and early adulthood, Justin. I'll explain for the Shine audience, but the term coconut, brown on the outside and white on the inside, was my entire childhood and young adult life. I suppressed being Filipino to the point where I was actually not proud of being Filipino. So ironically, being a coordinator of FLAGG is my penance. I wanted to. My friend Mel has a term for it. Right? It's called being a born again Filipino. Like from repressing it to like, I'm full. Lechon eating.
It.
Yeah, and I don't know Tagalog, but But anyway, so I guess one of the ideas for FLAGG was it's okay to be Filipino and American. It's not a mutually exclusive state of being. Like you don't have to hate your Filipino-ness in order to embrace your American-ness. Like both can happily coexist, but it took me 56 years to learn this lesson. I hope you learned this lesson and it doesn't take that long.
I would say that repressing your how Filipino you are, or just repressing being Filipino is a very common thing. Like sadly enough, I grew up, so I'm half Filipino, half white, but I grew up closer to my mom's side of the family, and they're all straight from the islands, and they wouldn't like be afraid of saying that they're Filipino, but they wouldn't like share the culture. Like, I still don't know a lot about the culture. I still don't know a lot of things about being Filipino and what that is. And I don't feel Filipino some days because I'm just very American compared to everyone else in my family. And it's just so weird because I look Filipino, but I don't feel it.
Eli, you had a really unique a really good and positive like Filipino experience.
Yeah.
I think
Last year.
Yeah, I think that would like. Why don't you share that? 'Cause I think that would provide some insight on this whole phenomenon.
Okay, so to briefly summarize for our Shine audience, last year of December 2023 was my first time ever going to the Philippines.
Wow.
I know, right? After 15 years. And it was just such an eye-opening experience, honestly, seeing the full culture, the full Philippines and everything. Like, I just saw what being Filipino was and what it meant to be as a Filipino. I saw how they lived, where they're living. Like, compared to America, it's prettier in some ways. It's not as pretty in other ways. That's like all I can say. And I would honestly recommend, if anybody, Filipino or not, hasn't been to the Philippines, do it. It's just such an amazing experience, and I think that you need to do it, honestly.
Don't leave us hanging, Eli. No, what I mean is that like. It sounded like you were about to give an example of how messed up like the poverty levels are.
Yeah,
Oh my
there's
God,
a
yeah.
lot
So do
that
it,
we
like-
could be talking about. Okay, so
Let's do it. Yeah.
poverty is one of the things that the Philippines is definitely struggling with. Compared to here, you're gonna see a lot more people on the streets. A lot of just families trying to make a living.
Yeah.
Street vendors is a big thing over there.
Yeah.
The traffic, traffic doesn't really have to do with poverty, but it's a bad thing.
It's just so
Sorry,
congested,
I had to bring that up. And I'd say like there is a lot of things that the Philippines is dealing with, but poverty is such a big issue that the houses are like worn
Shanty
down.
towns.
Yeah, it's not as good. Like their living conditions it's shocking, honestly. Like when I was surprised that people could like make a living, they could survive out of there. Sorry, that doesn't. Whatever. Anyways,
Well, I think, for example, when you mean shantytown, you mean because I've seen them too, like literal homes where families live that are made out of
Just like
plywood.
yeah,
plywood
wood, like,
and iron. But one of the things I've noticed is that the people there tend to be a lot more happier than we tend to do here, because
That's true.
because they live in such poverty, they've learned how to like, really
they've
appreciate
learned how to be
everything in life.
grateful for
Yeah.
a lot of their stuff. Honestly.
I think it's called bayanihan, really, and just like that communal spirit, where you learn to live not just for yourself but also for others.
Would you guys say that homelessness is more of an epidemic here or there?
I mean, in terms of like factor-wise, I would say there.
Well, homelessness is a big
It's
thing.
a big thing, like
In like no matter.
Yeah.
where you
it's-
are in the world. Yeah.
Downfalls of capitalism. Are we allowed to say that?
Maybe.
Capitalism is our oppressor.
Capitalism is our oppressor. All isms are oppressors.
True. Now that you've experienced the Philippines, do you see life in the United States through a different lens?
Yeah, let me think about that.
Yeah. Well, and Justin lived in the Philippines.
I
was
didn't
gonna
technically live there, but I spent a
sorry.
lot of my summers there.
Right.
Oh.
Right. So what?
Yeah.
What? Same question to you, Justin. What lens do you see? After being in the Philippines, how do you see life in the United States?
Where I'm from in the Philippines, it's like not really. It's not like Manila or anything like that. Where my mom's from, it's a really secluded, isolated island, and not many people have a lot out there. But at the same time, there's just such this it's really indescribable. Like it's a small island. There's only 3 towns on it, but there's such an incredible sense of unity and like just togetherness that these people have, that being able to experience both that and also my life in the US, I've tried to implement like both of like the positive things about both cultures that I've seen. Like one example is like I've learned how to be more humble, and also just really being grateful for what you have. And I always those whenever you go back, the balikbayan boxes.
Let's explain to the Shine audience what a balikbayan box is.
So balik means go back, and bayan basically means country. So it's like going back home box. So it's basically something that you fill with goodies. And I always like to be considerate and I like always call my relatives, ask them like, oh, what do you want? And then I'll send whatever they want back.
Yeah. Well, let's describe to the Shine audience what would be in a typical balikbayan box from the United States that goes to the Philippines.
Stuff for sale in Costco. A lot.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Candy. Clothes.
Clothes are a big thing. Like,
Yeah.
if you're growing out of your clothes, it's going
Going
to
in
the
the box,
Philippines
yeah.
for all of your relatives.
And
over
then you
there.
wonder where it goes, and then like a month later you see it on like your mom's relatives' Facebook post. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Like they'll just
That's where
straight
it
up
went.
take
Yeah.
our clothes and give it over.
Yeah.
They don't even tell us beforehand.
Well, also, I think anything made in the United States, anything with a label that says "Made in the United States" is a big deal. Like all of our stuff, even this Levi's jacket here probably has a label that says "Made in China." But yeah, made in the United States stuff, perfumes. But anyway, sorry, that was an aside. Just to explain what a balikbayan box was.
Being grateful for the education and really making use of the education that you can get here, because you really can't get it anywhere else, is just really super important. And the knowledge that I've been able to learn here, I know it'll be super helpful in how I can help my relatives back home with the struggles that they have.
Yeah, aren't the schools there like anything below 75% is a fail? That's what my friend Nick said. They're from the Philippines.
I mean, socially, yeah. People will like call you a failure. Your parents will call you a failure. But I'm not exactly too familiar about the education system out there. But like I know it's really much more rigorous than it is out there.
Yeah, I'm a little more
here, yeah.
familiar. There are some like elite schools in the
Yeah.
Philippines, Ateneo and
UST.
yeah, University of Santo Tomas, which are all run by Jesuits or
Yeah,
the
which
religious.
is, yeah, the
So you
Catholic
have that.
monks.
We haven't even talked about religion
Oh.
and Filipino-ness.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. So in order to get the best education in the Philippines, you also have to go through this. Well, that's right. Money. All it
Yeah,
takes
money
is gobs
big
of
thing.
money, and then you also have to get through the religion.
yeah.
Like you are expected to go to
The
church every day.
Catholic school education is like number one out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it does provide a really good education,
It
but it
does,
also
yeah.
comes with this other
Yeah, and I
stuff.
can see how it's like, because both my parents growing up, they both went to Catholic school, and it really, in a way, tunes your mindset. Some ways for the good and some ways for the bad, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Especially when it comes to science. They can be really biased with science.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Your family and my family have like similar origin stories. I'm not gonna talk about that. Because yours is far more interesting. But yeah. I think there's this whole like leaving everything behind and starting over
Yeah.
is something is a deep part of the Filipino immigrant experience in the United States. We had a question a couple of flag meetings ago, and it's like, how would your life be in the Philippines? Yeah. And you know what? We would have servants. We would have gone to the top schools. We'd probably be,
We wouldn't be the same people that we
Yeah.
are today,
Yeah.
honestly.
yeah. Mental health and Jesus. So you said earlier about how when mental health struggles come up and the answer is Jesus, want to share some, anybody want to share some stuff about that?
I mean, I think it goes all the way back to Spanish colonization,
Yeah.
colonial mindset, really.
Mm.
Yeah, over 85% of the people in the Philippines are Catholic, and another 10%, a
That's
little
so
bit more,
right.
or something like
No,
that,
it's up there.
are Christian.
Yeah.
And there's like an over 90% of the nation is Christian. And one of the ways that the Spanish controlled us was with the power of the church. And they used the church like as a fear factor, really, to like really subjugate us. And you can see how it trickles down. It survives today, you know, like in the education system, and, you know,
Yeah.
just
No-
down to like Filipino culture itself. It's really embedded in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're going to be punished by God,
Yeah.
not just one time, but for all of eternity.
How fun.
Yeah, you're going to be,
Yeah.
burning in the pits of hell if you disrespect your parents.
Yeah. And one of the things,
Or anyway, go.
I feel like it's not necessarily the church that's the problem. It's the people, really, because it's one of those things, again, where, like, you know, they take the message of the church and then they, you know, twist it into their, you know, own way that it, like, serves their
Hmm.
preconceptions. That makes sense.
No, it's a control thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, a lot of good has been done by the churches of all faiths. A lot of good charity work, but a lot of bad things have also been done in the name of our gods, right? So, well, I think as Filipinos, as Filipino-Americans, we get that.
Yeah.
We get that. That's an important factor. I think I'm just gonna be recognizing our time left and that y'all are going to be picked up by loved ones at 5:30 or
Oh, are we running out of time already?
not really. Well, it's
Oh.
it's 5:14, and like in the 15 minutes we have left, I think it would be good to just kind of do some overall things. Like it would be really interesting what cultural factors make it difficult for Filipino-American students to seek help for mental health struggles like depression and anxiety?
Definitely the model minority stereotype that we have to go through, where we're supposed to be hard workers, we're supposed to be smart, and we're not supposed to we're supposed to be submissive to specifically white people, but really anyone who's telling us what to do. That's like a cultural thing that a lot of Filipinos are weirdly proud of, that they're seen as the good minority race. So, and it's like mostly a thing that I've seen specifically in America, because I haven't been to the Philippines, but it's mostly Filipino-Americans who struggle with this, like having to be perfect, that sort of thing for other people.
I feel like there's been like such a stigma that's been built up against it that has like such a like negative connotation, especially with our parents' generation. And I remember something I would hear a lot when I was younger. Oh, after I went to middle school in Napa, and it was a white majority, and my elementary school there was a lot of diversity, so really having to shift from that change to that school, changing from school to school where like I had no friends or anything. What my parents told me, they were like, you have to learn how to be white mentally in order to survive here in America.
I'd say one other big, I don't know if you would call this a cultural factor, but the Filipino pride. That's one of the big things that sort of hold us back from asking that simple question of asking for help. Like, us as Filipinos, we feel that we don't need to ask for help, that we can deal with it on our own. That sort of mindset is like really, really unhealthy.
Just pray to God and it'll go away.
I know. I think it was Justin who also brought up the colonial mindset. How, like as Filipinos, we've like kind of ingrained ourselves into thinking that we need to be lighter skinned to be pretty. We need to be skinnier to be pretty. And it's weird because I'll get comments all the time from my grandparents saying, or like just my relatives in general saying, "Oh, you're only half. Why are you so dark?" Or stuff like, "You're really pretty for dark skin." And I'm like, "Oh,
No. Oh. Yeah. Hey, for the Shine audience, so a thing in the Philippines is skin whitening soap.
Colorism.
My the friend Corazon, he growing up, his mother rubbed calamansi on his skin just so he'd be whiter. So.
Me too.
But the funny thing is, in the United States, if you're a white person, what do you want to do?
Tanning.
Heck yeah. I mean, you essentially want to be more brown.
Yeah.
And the brown folk want to be more white.
It's
strange.
Weird thing where like beauty standards, I would say like overall is ethnic ambiguity, but you want to look white while being ethnically ambiguous. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like you want like nice Asian skin. You want
I don't think you have to explain it. If you we challenge our Shine podcast folks to go check out the most beautiful Filipinos and Filipinas on the
Google,
internet. And what are they going to look like, folks?
all tall,
white,
mestizas,
yeah. Or like Chinese, Mexican.
Yeah. On a positive note, what are some positive ways we can deal with our mental health struggles?
I channel it. Well, it's not really the healthiest way, but what I do is I bottle it up. And when I finally break down, I channel it all into art. So I like write poetry, I write songs, I like just write, really.
Going off of that, honestly, don't bottle up your emotions in the first place. I do that too, don't worry. But if you do, tend to have that bottling up tendency, just find like a good place to vent it.
Yeah.
Find something to express yourself.
Yeah. Having good outlets to express yourself.
Through music, art, poetry, drawing, whatever makes you happy, just do that.
Yeah.
But like I'd say the best way to like handle mental health struggles at all, like Justin, you said earlier, is just asking that first question, asking
Taking that
for
first
help.
step.
Yeah. That it'll go a long way, honestly.
Learning to recognize your self-worth. And also learning how to balance your identity, really. Because for everyone, there's so many factors in our lives that we think you can only be this or you can only be that. But when it comes down to it, that's what makes us so unique as individuals, because we have all these different factors that make us up. And just really learning, to accept yourself, and also learning to, just really honor where you came from.
I'm going to expand on that a bit, Justin. Your self-worth.
Self-worth, yeah.
Improve your self-esteem. I am the classic example of an overachiever because I have low self-esteem. Oh, quick show of hands. Who has low self-esteem?
Fluctuating.
Okay. I deal with my low self-esteem by like craving approval.
Oh.
Yeah, you're exactly. Approval and validation. It's like, oh, Clarence is a really good singer, or Clarence does this stuff
true.
really good, or he's a really good lawyer. And then, people say, oh, and then I hear that and like, oh, my self-esteem rises.
Like,
the problem is I need more of that.
You need more of that feeling. You need to be recognized more.
I think I have a similar issue, but like when it gets to like points where it's like I don't get any validation or like affirmation that I'm doing good enough, I'll just do anything just for attention.
Right.
And like as long as somebody's looking at me, I'm like, okay, that's fine. You can go away now.
I'm the adult version of you, Bella. Yeah.
I'm
Which
so
isn't
sorry.
bad,
I'm
right?
so sorry.
No, I mean, well, on one hand, I got a lot of success, following that life path, On the other hand, I'm when it comes right down to it, I'm a funky stew of self-doubt and low self-esteem, and that's not healthy either.
Yeah.
So you all help. You do. You don't realize like how much it helps me to actually say this out loud. And I guess another positive way to deal with your mental health struggles, folks out there, if you're a Filipino-American student, also when it comes right down to it, we really don't care if you're a Filipino-American student, but join FLAGG, be part of these interesting conversations.
Selfless plug, by the way.
Heck yeah. That's what I'm going to do. You want to lead special intentions?
So special intentions is when we have a special intention for others. Careful there. For others who are specifically going through hard times, or anyone in particular that we want to send good vibes to. For my special intention is for Clarence's friend who had recently lost his mother. For Sean,
my accounts manager.
The accounts manager at our job. Everybody in school right now, second semester slump. It's kicking our butts.
Yep. Special intentions to your friend. Special intentions to you. I know AP. We don't talk about that. Special intentions to you, Justin. I don't know how English is going for you, but I also see you sleeping a lot, so maybe I can take a guess. And special intentions to everybody else who's just going through a tough time. If you're ever feeling down, just learn to be proud of yourself. That's something that I struggled with, honestly. So, yeah.
Special intentions to my Lola. NSF, I love you. Holding it out for you. Really special intentions to all of us here. I know we all need it. Lord knows we need it.
Yeah.
And to the teachers in school, I feel like no one really talks about you guys a lot. I know you
That's
guys,
true.
yeah,
That's
special intentions for you guys too.
Shout out to Miss Gonzalez for putting up. Shoot, is Miss Gonzalez or Miss Gomez?
I have no clue.
I forget. I'm sorry.
Just call her Miss G. or
Miss
something.
G,
Yeah.
you're my math teacher, and I'm so sorry for you. But shout out to you because you put up with the worst class in the school. I love you.
Y'all took my, well, I was going to save one for Sean, but you did it already, and I love you all for that. Special intentions for my colleagues in the Napa Valley Educational Foundation. I know that there are some big events coming up, including fundraising, and they just do so much good. Like the mariachi band. Mariachi student band is coming up. Yeah,
That
right.
sounds fun.
Yeah. And all those folks in our in our county that do good work. Our elected. Sorry, to plug our elected officials. Our elected officials. Elections are coming up in March for folks, and then in November, and that special intentions for them that they have the wisdom to make good, moral, rational decisions that help all of us, not just the 1%. Did I say that?
No, you didn't. Go
I didn't
ahead.
say
Please
that.
bring down inflation.
For everybody.
Please.
Yeah, help
inflation
keep
down.
down
Keep
inflation.
Keep inflation down. It's too much money to be looking good nowadays.
Oh, yeah,
Clothes
and-
are too expensive.
And remember, I'm going to say this. Remember the residents of Napa that drive into your vineyards in cars, not just the folks that fly in on a helicopter and a jet. Shameless plug, sorry. Okay.
So our closing is a passage called Struggles. A man found a cocoon of a butterfly. He put it on his mantle and waited with great anticipation for the butterfly to emerge. He watched as the cocoon started to shake. A small opening appeared. The man watched for several hours as the butterfly struggled to free itself from the cocoon. The man grew concerned with all the struggling, and fearing that the butterfly would die, he took a small knife and made a slit in the cocoon so that the butterfly would be free. The butterfly proudly emerged from the cocoon and walked across the mantle. For a few minutes, the man waited to see the beautiful butterfly fly away, but it never flew. The man asked the veterinarian what was wrong. The vet explained that the man did not understand that was constricting the cocoon was the struggle required for the butterfly to come free as God's way of strengthening the butterfly, so that it would be ready to fly once it achieved the freedom from its cocoon. Some struggles are exactly what we need in life. It is the struggles we need to encounter that life strengthens us by. By overcoming these difficulties, we gain the strength to fly. Ooh, I butchered that horribly.
It's fine.
It was
It
was good.
It's the message that counts.
It's the message overall.
Yeah, sometimes the struggles are exactly what we need to fly.
That's what I need to read. Ooh.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
to
you.
all our Shine
Right.
audience for listening to this flag takeover. We wish you all very well.
I'm sorry, the teacher whose name I forgot. I'll tell you to watch this. So,
Sa lahat ng mga Filipino kaibigan.
That's
Yeah.
gonna be an exclusive.
Yeah.
We're not
Yeah.
giving you a translation for that.
Look it
Alam
up.
ko ang imong mga,
you can say anything right now.
okay lang sa buhay mo. Just keep going. Yeah.
Right.
Really to everyone, yeah, just keep going in life. Don't
Be
give up.
happy.
Yeah.
Be happy with who you are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because ultimately, choose yourself over everything. That's
Well-
what's going to make you happy.
Okay. We'll say maraming salamat, which is thank you.